Timofey, we're not in Mercedes, how could we lose?
Hi everyone, this is Serdjio. You know that I am an avid Audi fan. Behind me is a car with almost 2000 horsepower. Today is going to be an unusual review. You have been waiting for this video for a long time, because it is super fresh novelty, especially Audi RS7. Before me is the first car, which appeared on the territory of Ukraine. Exactly, this car became the first Audi RS7 in our country. In today's video you will see the race, and of course the measurements. We will put these two cars on the dynamometer. Stock cars should show 600 horsepower, but I think it will be much more. The most important cherry on the cake will be the women who own these cars. I'm not kidding, it's exactly like that, because the Audi RS7 is owned by a girl named Dasha, and the Audi 6 Rupees is owned by a girl named Masha. The chic owner of an Audi 6 Rupees appears in our frame. The girl's name is Masha. Masha, we have known each other for a long time. This car is expensive, insanely expensive, and costs more than 200. There is a stereotype in Ukraine that if a girl drives an expensive car, she didn't earn it herself, but used a method that I won't voice. How do people, especially men, react to you and your car, mostly positively or negatively? Do they want to get to know you better or do they want to race you? What's going on?
It's definitely a positive reaction. I want to say that many people already know me and recognize my car, so there is no hatred or negativity towards me. And quite rightly I can say that no one ever asks questions about how I earned the money for this car.
That's because you're quite a famous girl in our country and everyone knows how you earned your capital with Alexander. After all, you are co-owners of what is probably the most famous car tuning studio in our country, or even the most comprehensive car tuning. Am I saying it right?
Yes, we do sophisticated tuning and visual styling. We do absolutely everything. Carbon fiber, tailoring, wrapping and detailing.
So everything in this car is you're doing?
Yes.
Guys, we have the gorgeous owner of the 7 Rupees in the frame. Dasha, hello.
Hello.
Dasha, why Audi?
Family business, and you can just look at the car and see all the answers.
I agree, the car looks expensive. Is this the first car of this brand in your possession?
Yes.
And immediately 7 Rupees?
Immediately.
This is a very bold and daring thing to do. I like that approach. The styling of this car is just crazy. It's something to be proud of. I am very happy that in our country there are such people and such projects, and everything works out. Do they often try to race you in the city? It's a sports car, on the road it looks very cool and defiant. Do the owners of updated Lanos try to compete with you or not?
I am often approached by owners of cars of completely different brands to support Audi. And sometimes there are moments when I'm standing at a traffic light and we're looking at each other with M5 or E60 drivers.
Careful, I'm Dominic.
Clearly, something has to happen.
Do you know how to drive such a fast car?
My drift coach prepared me for this very carefully. I do drifting. I have a GT RS6 that is currently in development, and I will be driving it next season. I also have a BMW M2, in which we also trained extensively.
Did this car surprise you with its power, or is it just a regular car with only 600 horsepower?
I didn't expect the car to be so cool.
Honestly, I didn't expect it to be this cool either. I really like it. There is a lot of hatred towards women behind the wheel, not specifically towards you, because you are a self-sufficient girl. In Ukraine, in our Ukrainian mentality, there is an opinion that a woman behind the wheel is a problem.
I can tell you for a fact that no woman thinks she's bothering anyone. Thank God. They don't honk at me very often, but of course there are times when someone somewhere doesn't like something.
Does the fact that a young, beautiful girl like you is driving such an expensive car cause you much hatred? Because in Ukraine there is an opinion that if a girl is driving, she definitely did not earn money for this car, and many are even embarrassed to drive expensive, bright, interesting cars, so as not to look hateful.
There is no hate, but sometimes there are some comments on the internet.
What, for example, is the most popular comment?
It was supposedly some daddy who bought it for me.
Blowjob.
Hashtag.
Basically, that's the end of the introduction. Let's move on to the cool clip and move on. Everyone praises the RS6 for its smoothness and softness of motion, and you know, it really is fantastic. But, guys, this particular car has an exclusive interior. A salon for the price of a small apartment near Kiev. It looks fantastic. Guys, there are no extraneous noises, you can feel that the car has quite a decent weight. The mileage is 13,000 kilometers. By the way, I think that's probably one of the highest mileages of the RS6 right now, right?
I drive a lot.
BMW or Audi?
It's a very hard choice.
Really?
Yes, they are different. I drove an M5. It would be more correct to say that I was driving an M5. Well, I like the way this car drives. The M5 doesn't feel like that, it's not as sharp.
By the way, cool stock exhaust, very similar to the R8, but more bassy. Nothing in this car has disappointed me and nothing irritates me. To be honest, I did not expect that they sew so well in Ukraine. I am very pedantic, looking at all the angles and seams at once, and this machine will forever remain in my heart.
Thank you.
There are no more cars like that, you only have one. I appreciate exclusive cars. Even if it's a car for $25,000 or $20,000, you have one. And you have one such car, no one will ever confuse it with anything else. This car doesn't have to be locked, it won't be stolen. No one needs it. No one wants it. You can see it from a mile away and you can't sell anything off it. The grip on the steering wheel is awesome. Did you change the section of the steering wheel?
All original.
You know, if I had to choose between the M5, the RS6 and the E, it would be this car. I like fast station wagons, they are very appreciated in Europe. There are a lot of M5s, there are too many of them, they are all the same and appeared at the same time, but there are no such cars, much less station wagons. All powerful modes will be used by Masha, but I will allow myself to press once and try to find out what a stock car is, because I already drove a non-stock car. I'm sorry dear, but I'll have to. It's a predictable, confident car with 600 horsepower and no problems. Let's move on to the RS7, and there are lots and lots more interesting things waiting for you next. Two cars that are so similar and yet so different.
Yes.
I didn't think you could make two sisters into such different cars. Guys, one car is satin, the other is glossy. One car is a villain, and the other is luxurious and brutal. One car, it seems to me, will go faster and sharper, and the other more confident at top speeds. The body types, of course, are different. Now I drive in RS in the first mode. It is such a medium mode closer to the maximum. I'm in 7th gear, and I'm going full throttle. The car takes a long time to come down to the 3rd speed, it shifts itself. 180 km per hour is gained quickly. There are no complaints about the carbon ceramic brakes. But the way the RS enters a tight corner, guys, it's certainly fantastic. The rear steering axle is fantastic. You were talking about the emergency button. Yes, the emergency button, it should have been made physical, not touch button.
Below.
Under no circumstances should this button be hidden, it should be physical and in the most visible and easily accessible place. As for the interior, guys, I don't like it in all modern Audis, period. Everything is smeared, everything is stained, it's a disaster. There should be more physical buttons. And I'm sure that in 10 years, maybe less, physical buttons will be sold at an extra cost, and all these newfangled touch buttons will already be part of the basic package. Now it's considered cool, but really it's just a cheaper design, and everyone understands that. Porsche, like Lamborghini, went in the same direction. Mark my words, there will be physical buttons in 5 to 7 years. They will be crystal or other glass, beautiful, and you will have to pay extra for them. Can we start?
Of course.
It's all right. I'm anxious. Let's go. Cool. Guys, 180. That's very powerful. You know, my conclusion is that the -6 rupees rides more confident, heavier. I'm sure it's because the car weighs much more. First of all, it has a station wagon body and is inherently heavier and, of course, it has noise and vibration insulation, which is additional weight. Due to the fact that the weight of the car is very different, the -7 rupees feels very different. In terms of handling, both cars are similar, but because of the weight, I feel that the RS6 is a little sharper. I didn't use the launch control system on the -6 rupees, they ran out. But I did use the launch control system on the -7 rupees and was shocked at how cool it was. Both cars quickly pick up and hold speed without any problems. You know, RS cars should probably still be in a station wagon, but if you want style and cool charisma, unrealistic design, god-level design, the choice is obvious, it's the -7 rupees. However, as they say, everyone has what he likes and what he can afford. Both cars cost about the same money, and we have another day of shooting, measuring, racing, and lots of action ahead of us. We're at our friends at Upstage, and the guys are measuring our -6 rupees and -7 rupees. What are your stakes, gentlemen?
Come on. Today we're going to show 650 and 850 horsepower and 800 torque.
Okay, I'm also betting on 650 horsepower and 800 newtons of torque. Guys, your bets. I wonder which car will show more power, PC6 or PC7. I would like to remind you that both cars are stock. I also wonder which car will show the best acceleration from 0 to 100, from 100 to 200, and in general, who will be faster in the race. In the meantime, enjoy the great shots of the cool clip, and in a few seconds we'll show you the result. We already measured our -6 rupees and RS7, and you know, it came out very interesting, no one won. We said the car would have 640, 650, and 660 horsepower. I'll tell you why, because all the latest turbo engine manufacturers tend to underestimate power. Is that right, Vlad? It's a very different situation here. Vlad, tell us.
In addition to the fact that the manufacturer underestimates the power, plus the ecology stifles the engine a lot. This is the Euro 6 standard, so the engine warms up a lot, but shows the factory power. Both cars showed 820 torque. The first car even showed 822 torque.
Most manufacturers, such as BMW and Mercedes, underestimate the factory power of cars, so the real power of the engine is more. That is, the BMW M5 Competition's 620 horsepower shows 670 horsepower.
But it's not like that here.
Tell me, why is it different here?
Because these are modern Audis. This was not the case before. Golf GTI and RS3 constantly showed much more than indicated in the parameters.
Yes?
Yeah. Either they change their policy, or it's still the same environmentalism that's choking the engines, and they can't show more. They show their factory settings, but they can't go to a power reserve that's a little more than factory.
Okay, and while we're here, a traditional question for you. Guys, we're at Upstage, which is a tuning studio to increase the power in all kinds of cars. What is Stage 1 and Stage 2? What is the power and how much does it cost?
The Stage 1 inch has about 700 horsepower. For the price, €800, but that's just the firmware.
What is included in the firmware, engine and gearbox included?
This amount includes only the engine, and the box costs another €400.
What is Stage 2 inches and how much does it cost?
Stage 2 is plus 2 downpipes. It would be nice to put an intake on the car. As for the price, wait, I have to do the math, it's an extra €800. It turns out somewhere around 750 or 760 horsepower and somewhere around 1,100 torque.
There are no cars in Ukraine, Stage 3.
As far as I know, no.
And Stage 2?
There are such cars.
What is the stock car's acceleration and how much does Stage 2 inches show?
It depends on how pumped up the Stage 2 configuration is. I think the car should accelerate from 100 to 200 in 6 seconds.
Good time.
Am I right?
No, I don't know how close you guessed. I don't even know myself, because there aren't many of these cars. In short, we'll take measurements.
But they do have one problem. These cars don't have tuned intercoolers yet, and they get very hot during intake.
High five.
We flew. Let's go.
What do you guys think of our juicy pictures? It's cool, isn't it? Where are we? Of course, at Borispolska. It's time for your favorite race column. But before that, I want to say a few words. The girls have agreed to do the standing mile on wet asphalt, a discipline in which cars accelerate from 60 to 200, and we will film the whole thing on camera. What are your bets? Who will be faster than the -6 rupees or the -7 rupees? I'm betting those 20 hryvnias on an RS7 win, because it's a little lighter and I think it's going to be faster. However, the owner of the -6 rupees, Masha, has a trump up her sleeve. She is a karting champion and I think her reaction will be maybe even a little better. You'll see in a few seconds, but in the meantime, place your bets and move on. Ready? 1, 2, 3. We flew away. 150, 160, 170, 180, 200. Now slow down, but not sharply. We flew away from you. Masha, are you ready? Yes? 1, 2, 3. Great.
Come here.
Well done.
$207.
Did you like it?
Yes.
Did you like it?
Yeah, it was awesome. Again.
It was very cool. It was unbelievable.
That was awesome. We were literally riding at the same level. I've never ridden so level with someone during a race, never. It was unreal.
1, 2, 3. Great start, just super. That's it, pull over. Well done. It was a draw. Great, everything is great, just like I wanted it to be. Both cars drove the same, despite the fact that the RS6 is heavier. But let's not forget that Serdjio is sitting here.
Cool, it's unreal.
Friendship 1.
Anyway. Yes, friendship 1, but I had never ridden so close together before, so tightly. It was amazing.
It's true. Do you agree? It's cool when two cars drive so close to each other? You get a lot of fun from it, as opposed to when someone gets ahead quickly, then it's not interesting, there's no excitement.
Guys, the race between the two RS cars is over. I'm just overwhelmed with emotion. The two cars showed great results. And our girls showed a really high level of aerobatics. If you're wondering who gets those 20 hryvnias I bet at the beginning of the race, guys, nobody. The fact is that the RS7 is quite a bit lighter, and if you also consider the weight of the driver, our Dasha, then, of course, she has a slight advantage. However, Masha drives better, because Masha is a karting champion, and her reaction time is a little faster. What did we want to get out of these races? We wanted to do a comparative test and show you some cool video clips. We'll do real, powerful races later, on dry asphalt. And that's the end of it. Serdjio was with you. Adam, Kiev, Ukraine. Let's go. But we have a little bonus for you. Catch.